Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car.
So Copshop is the new action thriller from director Joe Carnahan. The film stars Alexis Louder, Frank Grillo, and Gerard Butler. The basic premise of this movie is that two shady characters get themselves intentionally incarcerated in a small town jail in the middle of nowhere. Each of them does this for very different reasons, and eventually the police station becomes an all-out war zone because one of them has a price on his head.
Why?
I have to be honest here, I think Joe Carnahan is doing a little bit of a Tarantino impression with this film. And I don't necessarily mean that as a bad thing. Everything from the style of the movie to the soundtrack to the characters feels very Tarantino-esque. It makes this film, which kinda has a 70s vibe, feel like it should have came out in the 90s, which is when everyone was trying to imitate Tarantino.
That makes sense.
Don't get me wrong, Joe Carnahan's direction in this movie is very well done. It starts off as kind of a slow burn, but once everything starts to pick up, it's very fast-paced, it's very frantic. The movie is nowhere near the level of Tarantino, but I found it to be very entertaining, actually.
I like it a lot.
There are parts of it that feel a bit cliche at times, but it was nothing that really took me out of the experience. I thought everyone had great performances and did the most with what they were given. I enjoyed both Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler in this movie. They create a nice dynamic in the story where basically they are both very obviously not good guys, but the audience, as well as Alexis Louder's character, has to decide who is the lesser of two evils. And then once shit eventually does hit the fan, she has to make a definitive decision.
So say good night to the bad guy.
I always enjoy Gerard Butler in movies, but I feel like he's one of those actors who's never really had a signature role. Well, I guess it would be Leonidas in 300, but it's been a while since he's had one at this point. And his character is very cool in this and probably gets some of the best lines to deliver in the whole movie, but I just didn't feel like he got enough screen time to properly shine. He feels like a very eccentric side character who gets a little bit more important by the end of the movie.
This is Sparta!
Speaking of eccentric, there's another character played by Toby Huss, who is also a hitman like Gerard Butler's character. He's much more psychotic, and Huss plays him way over the top. Almost too over the top at times. He isn't introduced until late into the movie, I'd say about halfway maybe, but his introduction scene is a highlight of the movie. It was very entertaining, and it's pretty crazy when you watch it.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
I thought the female lead, Alexis Louder, as Val, was the standout character of this movie. In fact, she kind of outshines a lot of her more macho co-stars, but not in a cringe way. It was honestly refreshing to see a lead character who's a female and black, but she didn't once mention either one of those things in her lines of dialogue, which is rare today. The character's allowed to stand on her own 2 feet, and she isn't defined by anything except her screen presence. She's a believable badass, and I found myself to be rooting for her when she's thrust into this very impossible situation. And they don't make her just good at everything or brave for no reason. She has a very distinctive moral code that's established early in the movie that pushes her through these difficult situations.
Besides that, it's all in the reflexes.
As far as the overall movie goes, everything you'd expect in a movie like this is there. There's shootouts, there's sudden deaths, there's double crosses, there's witty dialogue. The movie does try to keep you guessing, but if I had to say there's one part of it that doesn't work, it's that. Because there was a point where I found the story to be very predictable, especially towards the end. I wasn't really shocked by anything that I was supposed to be shocked by, I guess. The movie does feel very familiar at times because you've seen many movies like this in the past.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Oh. I do enjoy the Assault on Precinct 13 aspect of this movie, where it's basically in just one location. I didn't feel like the odds were quite stacked against the protagonist like I thought they would be, but nevertheless, it's still a difficult situation for her to be in when she gets sucked into this conflict that she has nothing to do with initially. Also, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but I noticed that this movie shares musical cues with First Blood. That, coupled with the police station location, feels like Carnahan was paying homage to something, but I don't know, it's just something I noticed.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
Overall, I was entertained by this movie. It was kind of just dumb fun and a good way to spend a Thursday night. I thought the characters were eccentric, but not all that memorable. The female lead felt like a female lead that was done right. The action and mayhem aspects of this movie were well shot and fun to watch, but the movie does feel very predictable and familiar at times. I think this falls right in line with a guilty pleasure type movie. It's fun, but flawed. So I'm going to give Copshop the Cathouse.
Saved by kitty litter.
You snotty little bastard.
So have you seen Copshop? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.